let's hit it. Yeah.
Hi there, how are you? This is Christmas Eve from Henderson's house.
And this is...
And we wish you a Merry Christmas.
See? How are you? Happy birthday. This is hilarious.
Here is our family Christmas tree lighting up the house. Looks very good. And now I will go stand by it. There's Marcus playing catch with the football. And Mom's you're gonna get busted from Mom. You're not supposed to play with the football. The house like,
Oh, Justin, it's recording. It's recording.
The business.
Looking back at these old videos makes me realize I've loved cameras my entire life. I think this is definitely my first love. Let's talk about this. So yep, I caught the Digicam bug, and yeah, I've been going kind of crazy. Let's talk about these Digicams and why I've been investing the hell out of all these cameras lately, right now. I can't even swing my arms, so let's go!
The business.
So how did I go down this rabbit hole? So yo, shout out to my man X. He's in my Patreon group, a good guy, dope producer, dope all around individual. He came to the studio doing our one-on-ones, and he was showing me his little cameras that he was using on a recent trip to LA. And he told me like the new vibe was just using these old point and shoots. And it just had me thinking, because back in the day, I used point and shoots when I was younger. And all the way, you know, this is my first camera that I ever bought as, you know, a 19, 20-year-old. This is the Sony CD Mavica. We'll talk about this in a second, but I started thinking like, what type of vibes could I get with these old cameras, and what type of nostalgia would it bring me? And so I went down this rabbit hole, started looking up some videos, started realizing that this is definitely a trend going on, and a lot of people are starting to invest in these older digital cameras from the 2000s, you know, the early 2000s. So shout out to Allie from 1 Month 2 Cameras. She really put me on to a lot of cameras that I definitely purchased, as well as a few others. But I'll tell you, man, I've been having a blast. So let me talk about some of the cameras that I've been purchasing and some of my favorites right now. So like I said, this is my original Sony CD Mavica 2.1 megabytes. I used this from like 2000 to maybe 2004, 2005. Here's some photos that I took back then as a young 20-year-old trying to get a start in the music industry. I took this everywhere, and this was my camera. I would always you know, grab some CDs, some mini CDRs, and just go out on the road and take whatever I could. I didn't know too much about, you know, the capabilities of this camera. I just liked the look of it. I liked the fact that it used CDs, and I thought it was intriguing. And so I started using this. And then I upgraded from there to, this is the Powershot SD1100 IS. I believe me and my wife bought this as kind of like our travel camera. We started using this probably from 2005, 2006, all the way up to about 2008, 2009. So it's definitely a little bit beat up, but these were the two cameras that I mainly used in my 20s. And so it's crazy that, you know, when I look back at my life, and as you saw that intro video, I literally have been enamored and obsessed with cameras and imagery my entire life, even longer than I have been with music. So it's pretty nuts when you go back and start looking at yourself 30-something years ago. So I heard about people's love for the Canon Powershots. So I went on eBay and I copped the Canon Powershot G1, Canon Powershot G2, and the Canon Powershot G5. You know, they have a nice kind of chunky design. You know, they have a good aperture of 2.0 to 3.0 on the lens for most of them. It has a nice zoom range. You know, they are kind of slow, but they can kind of provide you some really cool little looks. I tried all three of these out, and as much as I wanted to take them all around, my biggest thing that I've realized about cameras that I truly love is a compact size. And so as much as I wanted to use these more and more, over the last few weeks, I just didn't take them out as much because one, they wouldn't even fit in my bag, or you know, they just didn't fit in my pocket when I went to an event. So I decided not to, you know, use these as much as I wanted to, but they still have a, you know, good image quality and that good vintage Digicam feel. So then I started going and started to look at what are some of the rare, you know, cameras that you can get, and what are some of the ones that most people are looking at. And so I picked up this. This is the Pentax Optio 750Z. It's a lot smaller than these, you know, Canon Powershot G series, but you know, it's kind of clunky. You know, it makes a lot of noise. It takes really cool pictures. The color on it is actually pretty cool. Like, you're getting that, all of these cameras have that good CCD sensor that's gonna give you those old school camera colors from the old school digital cameras from the 2000s, the CCD sensor. But as much as I wanted to love this camera and its size, it was a little clunky, and I just couldn't seem to get into wanting to take it around as much as I thought I would. And so, as much as I love this one, it's not getting as much use at all either. Now comes into the three that I use the most. So this is the Powershot SD1000, and when I saw, I think King Jupes, I hope I pronounced my man's name right, post a video about this a couple months back, I saw that these the prices on these went from like $10 all the way up to about 100 and something bucks on eBay, and so I knew this was popular, and so I copped this, and it's in pretty mint condition, and it has all the right things for me. It's small, it's lightweight, it has a good zoom range, it has good colors. I've already done a you know, a reel or a couple videos on this, and I really appreciate the size, the form factor. I love that square design, and yeah, it's 7.1 megapixels. It has some dope video for those old vintage looks, and it does everything what I needed to do. It actually even has a little optical viewfinder, and so, you know, I can take this out when I'm out and about at events, and it's giving me that nostalgia. It's giving me the right look that I want to carry it around, and I'm loving it a lot. And then I picked up this for, I think, the second or third time. This is the DXO One camera from DXO. Now this is from 2015, 2016. I initially bought it back then, and it was almost like 600 bucks, right? It's basically a RX100 Mark III housed in a different body for your iPhone or for Android. So as you can see, it has a little pop out with a lightning adapter, and you can plug it directly into your phone, or you can use it standalone, but it can shoot RAW. It does have a CMOS sensor instead of the CCD sensor, but man, it's so pocketable. If I put this up against my AirPods, you can see, man, this camera's so light, it's so small. You just flip it down, and you're ready to shoot either raw photo or you can shoot video. And you know what I love about this is just how inconspicuous this is, and it's also a party trick when people are like, yo, what the hell is that? And so shout out once again to Allie from 1 Month 2 Cameras. She talked about this, did a review on this, and it sparked my interest once again, because I bought it back then for almost 600 bucks, returned it because I knew it just wasn't worth it back then for that much. But I actually picked this up on eBay for $60 a few weeks ago, and I've been shooting it ever since. It goes with me in my bag, and it goes with me everywhere. It's fun to use. Yes, the battery life is not as long if you keep it open, but as long as you kind of swing it down, take your picture, and swing it back up, you can get through a few hours all day with just shooting clips around town. And I love that about this. It actually has a little dot matrix in the back, so you can kind of compose your shot just a little bit, and just take a shot. And it's kind of like one of those stealth cameras that you can't do too much with by itself, but you can always plug it into your iPhone and take pictures that way. So I've been loving this. This is the DXO One, and another Digicam that I'm really digging. And last but not least, my absolute favorite, this is the Canon TX1. Now, this was initially released in, I believe, 2006, 2007. And I know that I watched a couple of videos about how the Neistat brothers, Casey Neistat and Van Neistat, they used this on their HBO docuseries from way back then. And it's just, look at this. I mean, just look at the way it looks. It has a 10 optical zoom. It's basically like a Handycam, a Sony Handycam, and a Powershot, like a SD1000 built into one. And so I've been using this a lot for video at the studio, using this for taking pics. The form factor is kind of weird for a camera, but for like a Handycam camcorder, it fits both, right? So you can get your Handycam camcorder 2000's vibes with this, as well as taking, really cool pictures around town. And, very small, very minimal, but man, it's got 10 times optical zoom. One of the dopest things I can tell you about this camera is the fact that you can be recorded and still take a shot. And the fact you get that shutter sound inside the video is classic, okay? It's a classic moment. Vintage is back, baby! As long as you use your flash with any of these cameras indoors, you're gonna get some pretty good exposure. It has a good CCD sensor, and I just love the way this looks. It's a nice metal body, and yeah, it's very rare, very hard to find, and I have picked up multiple of these because, if this ever breaks, I wanna make sure I can still use it. But this is the Canon Powershot TX1, and this is my absolute favorite digicam that I bought recently. So yeah, I'm telling y'all, you got to get into the digital vibes. You got to get into them old digicam vibes, because you never know when you want to create that type of vintage look, vintage feel for your video, or vintage looks for, some of the content that you're putting out there online. It's just fun to have, and a lot of these you can get for really cheap, under $50 usually, and you can have some, awesome times created, some nostalgic looks with all these digicams. So yeah, man, that's about it. These are all of the digicams that I have right now. I mean, I have so many cameras, it's ridiculous, but I'll tell you, go and look back on some of the pictures and some of the video that you can find of yourself from when you were younger, and see just what you were into, and realize that, man, we really don't change as much as we think we do over time. I'm looking at myself at 11 years old and now seeing myself at 43. And I still have such a tremendous love for cameras, for video, for imagery in itself. And I'm grateful for all the opportunities I've had to use this gear professionally and just for fun and for family. And so, yeah, without that being said, I hope everybody has a happy holidays. And I want to give y'all something a little special. This is something that I've been working on my life over the last year. And yeah, I'm just going to let this roll as far as, my philosophy on life. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your holidays. Stay safe out there. Stay blessed. And just know that if you are feeling lonely during these times, there's somebody right here in Atlanta thinking about you right now. All right. Take care. Love you all. Happy holidays. Over the last year, I've really focused on my philosophies on life. Here's my ABCs on how I want to live every single day. A, always add value. B, be current. C, communicate everything. D, discipline your day. E, engage with people. F, figure out your truest desires. G, go to God first. H, host God in your spirit. Don't be a hostage to your ego. I, invite in the unknown. J, join the team. K, keep yourself humble. L, let go of the past and the future. M, manage your time. N, never give up. O, open your heart. P, pace yourself. Q, quiet your mind in the morning. R, relax once it's complete. S, surrender to God daily. T, talk positive to yourself and to others. U, understand your superpowers. V, value life. W, wait for the right time. Y, yield your pride for your spirit. And Z, zero in on manifesting abundant life.